Hello,
Yeah. How old are you?
19.
Okay. What do you got?
Um, I'd say God is not God is not imaginary. Wait, why? What do you mean by imaginary by chance stuff?
It's not real.
Like he's not conceptually real, or like it's not
It doesn't
something.
exist in reality. It's just in our minds. Do you have evidence of God that exists in reality?
Yeah, so I guess it's important to understand like what God would be, and I'd say God would be an eternal mind that.
Okay, great. What's your evidence of that?
Do you know what concepts are?
Yeah. Now, what's your evidence of God?
Concepts can exist without a mind, and therefore an eternal mind has to exist.
Concepts can exist without a mind?
Do you believe concepts can exist? Oh, you said you believe that concepts can exist
No.
without a mind?
No, they're existing in our minds.
Yeah,
So I
so
don't
so
see.
concepts can exist without a mind.
How do you know that?
Um, because if concepts can't if you're saying that concepts can exist without a mind, then I mean that'd be a complete contradiction to what a concept is, or the definition of what a concept is.
The
A concept.
definition is a mind-dependent entity, right? It's like a thought. That would be just like a mind-dependent.
Yeah, exactly. So if a concept is a mind-dependent entity, then that means that concepts can't exist without a mind. And therefore, an eternal mind has to exist because concepts exist eternally.
How do you know concepts exist eternally?
Let's take logic for example. Um, do you believe the laws of logic always existed?
No, they're mind dependent.
Um,
They're concepts. They're concepts.
I mean, so you're saying, okay, so like let's look at it, right? So let's say like the earth and the sun existed before we did, right? Um would that be would the earth and the sun be the same thing? Like
Yeah, you're severely lost here. Um, the point is, when we use logic or mathematics, these are descriptors for reality. We're using these to describe what's happening around us. They're mind dependent. Math is coming from the mind. Logic comes from the mind. So there is no such thing as logic outside the mind or math outside the mind. These are just mind dependent things. So to me, there's no need for a kind of transcendental mind that grounds these things. It's just our own minds, our own thoughts and brains.
wait, so is it possible that before we existed, two plus two was both can equal four, and two plus two could equal five at the same time?
No.
So yeah, so a contradiction. You're saying that a contradiction couldn't exist before we did, right?
Nothing, no, there's no concept of a contradiction before we exist. There's no truth before we exist. There's no logic before we exist. These are all mind dependent to me.
So square circles. It's possible that square circles exist
No, why do you keep saying this? Why do you keep saying
because
this?
if you're saying
No, listen. Logic is descriptive of the world around us. It's just a mental process. So when you ask the question, does logic exist before the mind? That's a malformed question because there is no such thing as logic without minds.
wait, so where do we you're saying that logic is descriptive of what's around us. So you would be saying like it's descriptive of what we know with our five senses, right?
No, it's logic is analytical. There's, it's conceptual, right? We make up the numbers, symbols, letters, language. That's symbolic. But there's also empirics, right? Synthetic truths and analytical truths. The point is that truth itself is merely descriptive, and that does not require that requires a mind, and I don't see it happening outside the mind.
Well, I mean, earlier you said something different though. You said that logic was just something that's descriptive of what's around us. So I would affirm.
Yeah, that's coming from the mind, our own minds. You don't need any transcendental mind for that.
Well, I mean, but if we go if we like, where do you conceive of numbers? Like, is that something you see in reality, or is that something in the mind?
Something we conceive of in the mind. Math is a mind thing. It's a mental thing.
Okay, so is it possible that number two was the number three before we existed?
Before we existed, there's no mind to describe those things. So that's a malformed question. You keep doing the same thing. You're confusing the map for the territory. I agree that there's an external world that's beyond us and beyond our minds, but there is no truth beyond the mind.
So you're
If you
saying
keep doing the
you
map for the
believe
territory,
so you believe that humans construct, like, math is a social construct.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any proof of this?
Well, we know the prefrontal cortex generates logic and math. There are many studies on this, neuroscience.
The prefrontal cortex. I'd say that the prefrontal cortex engages with these things, but that doesn't mean that it makes them.
Well, there's no evidence that there's some kind of math beyond the brain or mind. All the evidence suggests that the mind is generating mathematics. It's just symbols.
So can tomorrow we say that five is four?
We could if we define them as that.
I think you're mistaking the word for the concept.
Exactly. The concept of numbers, that's all conceptual, and it's coming from the mind. And how we give numbers descriptions. Oh, this is 5, this is 4. Those are all just other descriptions, labels. It's all conceptual.
Well, we can agree to disagree. Have a good day.
Okay. Hey, what do you got?
Yeah, I
Again,
guess that. So, prove you wrong that God isn't imaginary?
yeah.
Well, I mean, like the dude was just saying before, this consciousness, and I think the concept you was talking about concept. The concept of God is we're trying to put a man in the sky or a figure. I think people take that
Okay,
concept.
sir. I really don't care. What is your evidence for God, please? Just what is it?
Well, first let me break that down, but I won't break it down. So, the concept of God is creation.
Okay,
And
what's
I
your
think
evidence of creation? What's your evidence of creation?
that nothing starts from nothing. I mean, things didn't just pop up, something happened. And I think that happening is God. But
Okay, how did God pop up?
I think that happening is because you're thinking that God is a figure, a person.
How did
Uh
God pick up? How did God pop up, sir? How did God just start randomly existing? Where did God come from?
well, how did we start randomly existing?
We could have always been. You don't have to start, right? We could have always existed.
And that's my definition of God. Is
Okay, but the
existence
problem
itself.
is, if you're going to say that we are God, yeah, of course God is real. But all you did was relabel things that already exist. You're not getting us anywhere new.
Exi- existence itself,
Anywhere new.
because there's no example we have ever of something making itself. So
I never
existence
said there
itself,
was somebody making itself, sir. Look, is it possible that the universe always existed?
I don't think it's possible, but let's say it's possible. Even if it's possible, still existence itself, that's that's the God. A lot of people
All right.
think
All
God
right. Have
is
a
in
good
this
day. I
being.
just can't anymore.
What's up?
How are you?
You hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is kind of something that I've struggled with a little bit. But ultimately, the main thing that points me towards God being real is intelligent design. So, you're walking through the forest and you see a tree house in the tree. You don't think, oh, that just randomly grew there, or, oh, an earthquake happened and that was randomly built there. So whenever I see, complex things built, I don't think they can come from nothing. And I think people and animals and nature is very complex. So I guess
I
that's
agree.
my
I
argument.
agree that the things are complex around us. The problem is when you see a watch, there's a watchmaker. However, when I see a cloud, I don't think there's a cloud maker. There's nobody making clouds. That's just a natural process. So there are things within our world that are natural, hence don't need design. And because of this, we don't need anybody making the universe. The universe can be natural. And all of its complexity can be explained through natural processes like evolution.
Yeah, I gotcha. I'm not a real good debater, and you're a smart guy, but that's my 2 cents. Thanks, man.
Every building has a builder, and every snow has a snowman making the snow. Every drop of rain has a rain man making the rain happen. Right? It's just a bad argument.
Hello?
How are you?
Sup? No.
Okay. But also another reason why design makes no sense is because I just choked on my food. I just ate before, right? I just got done eating my dinner. I choked on my food. What does that tell you about design? It's shitty that something as simple as eating a bean is going to make you choke to death. Like that's ridiculous. That's a dumb design. God could have made us have 2 holes to eat and breathe from instead he gave us 1. Right? That's a really stupid design to me. And who designed God to be so complex, right? Everything needs design except for God? Is that coincidence or maybe just you're making it up as you go?
Hello?
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask a question and see your point on what I'm about to say. And bear with me because, I'm a little stupid. But, okay. Would you believe that the phone that you're going on live with was created by itself? It just happened. It just happened. The particles happened to combine together and it made a phone.
No, there was somebody making a phone.
Okay. So, why would you say someone made the phone? Why?
Because we have evidence of a phone maker.
Okay. But who is the phone maker? Tell me. Who made the phone?
A person.
Who is that person? Have you seen the person making the phone?
Some person in a factory.
Okay, so I just wanted to ask, if you know for a fact that this phone can be made by itself, how could you think that the whole universe was created out of a whim?
You're presupposing it was created. Who said it was created?
Because it exists.
When you look at a rock, look, when you look at a rock, do you think the rock was designed by somebody, a rock man?
I mean, it's there.
Is there a factory of rock makers that are making rocks? No. They're natural, right?
Okay.
So if things around us are natural, why does the universe need something supernatural?
Well, the point I was trying to make was that, our phones, laptops, houses, whatever, it has an intelligent design. So, there's no way it could just come to be on its own. Does that make sense?
Hold on, I can't see you. Let me get my glasses on. You said what now? Okay, I couldn't see. My eyes were poorly designed. What'd you say?
I said that if these
hold
things...
on. I can't hear you. Let me get my hearing aid. I can't hear very well. Okay, my ears were designed poorly. Okay, go ahead.
Come on, man. I'm trying to take this seriously. I want to know your point, actually. honestly, do you go live to troll?
Sorry, I
Or
just choked on my
do
water.
do you go live to troll, or do you go to like actually
I
seek
just choked on my
knowledge and
water,
spread
sir.
knowledge?
Look, you're not getting the point here. The point is that if you're going to say we're designed, number one, give an example of something that's not designed. Is everything designed from a phone to a grain of sand?
Yes.
So, okay, so even a grain of sand is designed to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, yeah, the point is that if you're going to say everything's designed, I can say nothing's designed. Because there's no symmetry breaker between something that's designed or not designed. Do you understand that? If everything is designed, nothing's designed.
I'm not keeping up. If everything's designed, nothing is designed.
Just as you say everything is designed, I could say nothing's designed. There's no difference between those two worlds.
Okay, so do you like?
Look,
Where do you think we came from?
for example, you're
Mhm.
saying everything's designed, but there's no difference between a universe that's designed and a universe that's not designed, because you couldn't tell the difference.
I mean, you could,
What's the difference?
because you don't experience it. You're not experiencing it. Like, it's not.
What are you talking about? You have assumed that this universe was designed with no reason. And there's no way to know if I'm right or you're right. If that we're not designed or we are designed. That's the problem. There's no difference.
But the
Just as you say
complexity,
everything's designed, I could say nothing's designed.
but the complexity of the universe and the complexity of us, like, how could it just come to be on a whim? Like, I want to know your point of view.
Look, what's more complex, me or God?
God, of course.
Then your argument collapses because God needs a designer. By your own logic, God's more complex than me. Everything complex needs design. So who designed God?
But that's the point. The action of design comes from God. Our complexity,
But who designed God?
the action of designing comes from God.
Who designed God?
The action of designing.
You're not answering my
or
question, sir.
creating
Who
comes from
designed God? Who designed God?
Nobody, nothing. God was always
Okay,
there.
then so if God doesn't need design, then why does our universe need design?
Because it exists.
So does God to you.
Okay, you make a good point. I'll do some research on it.
Yeah, look, good for you. Good. At least you're being honest. I'm not here to say that God isn't real. I'm here to say that there's reasons to reject what you're saying as a good argument, right? That's all I'm here to say. But yeah, good for you. Keep doing research. Learn. That's all I can tell you. This is a bad argument.
All right, I got you, man. Appreciate it.
All right.
Hey, are you there?
Yeah. I hope so.
So God isn't real, right?
Right.
Okay. So what about good and evil? Does that not exist either?
They do exist, but subjectively.
Subjectively, they exist. How?
Good is what we prefer. Bad is what we don't prefer.
What about morals? Where do morals come from?
Our brains, preferences.
So Hitler killing millions of people, that was his preference. That was his subjective
Yep.
good, subjective morals. So was he right in doing that?
No, I disagree with what he did. I disagree with what he did. That doesn't mean that we have to follow his morality, right? Everybody has their own opinions.
Right.
But that's what morality comes down to, right? The crux of it is we all have opinions. No, but there is no sense of anybody being objectively right or wrong, to me.
So but it makes no sense. I mean, if we're like animals, I mean, animals kill other animals without any moral compass, right? I mean, a cat kills a
Well-
mouse and he doesn't feel wrong for killing a mouse. he kills that mouse because he's a cat. But when
Yeah,
we go out and kill somebody, if we have any morals to us, we feel bad for doing that, right?
right. Humans have a more complex moral code. We have more complex brains
But
because of
why
this.
is that? Why do humans have a more complex moral code? I mean,
Because
that
we
make,
evolved to be this way. We evolved societies.
but
We evolved language. These are
but why,
things that make us more complex.
but why hasn't the cat evolved to feel bad for killing a mouse?
Because it wasn't pressured to do that. It did that for the sake of survival reasons. But now within societies, we no longer have to eat people, and because of this, we feel bad about it. We feel guilt about it because that's how we evolved.
But there's got to be a reason why we feel guilt. I mean,
Yeah, it comes from the amygdala. It comes from the parts of the brain that are responsible for empathy.
our conscious,
It
our
all comes from the
conscience,
brain.
right?
It all comes from the brain. The brain is a very complex mechanism. That's what actually explains why people have different degrees of empathy. Right? If you notice, people have different degrees. It's because we all have different brain chemistry
That
and
makes sense.
genetics, which give rise to different brains.
Okay. All right. Hey, that's all I wanted to ask. I appreciate your input, and thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. Keep learning and stay curious. That's all I'm here to do, guys. Make it keep learning and inspire you to learn something more about the world, because the world is a mysterious place and it's a wonderful place. It's a great place to be in. So learn about it. Growing your understanding of things makes the world a way better place. Hello?
Hey, Daddy.
You got me, bro. I was like, damn.
Hello.
What do you got?
So, I hear what you're saying. In my opinion, I think the issue is we personify God too much. We make him, we look at him as if he's human instead of.
Okay, great. So what's your evidence that your God's real?
My evidence is, I would say love. Because it's very transcendent among every creature on the earth and plants and animals.
Yeah, but it's only transcendent because we all have brains, right? Animals have brains.
No.
Love comes from the brain.
Love comes from the spirit. Would you agree that we have a spirit?
Hell no. There's no such thing as a spirit. Do you have evidence for
So
it?
when you die, let's say you passed away right now, why are you not alive still? What left from you that, or did your your body just shut down, right?
Yeah, we shut down. That's why we die.
Okay, so why are you different from me then? What makes your personality or your ego or whatever so different from mine if
We
you
have
don't
different
have an
brains,
essence
sir.
to
We
you?
have different experiences, different brain types.
I don't know. I think everything has an essence.
Okay, prove it. Just give evidence for this shit.
No,
Right?
no,
This
no, no,
sounds
no.
great.
I'm saying I gotta prove essence to you. You don't think, okay, you haven't been outside on a good day and seen a tree and felt anything or seen different animals. Like if you have one cat that's mean or something, and then you have a dog that loves you and you get around that, you don't feel something. Like just
Yeah.
breaking it down.
Yes, dopamine, oxytocin. Right?
Look. Okay.
Hold on. Let me explain. Let me
Okay.
explain. I agree. When I experience the world around me, there's something you feel, but that feeling comes to me from the brain. There's no evidence that it comes from elsewhere.
There's no evidence that it comes from elsewhere. I disagree. I think science is something we made up, right?
Okay, I agree. So now give the scientific evidence for your claims, right?
I'm saying we made science, so how can we go by that? Like, okay.
Look, Science is not just made up by us entirely. We use the external world as part of our science. We use the empirical data around us in our science. That's why it works, because we use it to make predictions and we test things. That's how science works. We don't need this. Whether or not science works, though, has no bearing on whether or not a God exists. So, what's your evidence of God, sir, before I kick you?
Okay. My evidence, this is the last thing I want to say. I can't really sway your opinion. You're too convinced. But I think that God is creation purely, and we are like a vessel for creation.
It's not evidence, right? When I ask for evidence, I'm not looking for claims. I'm looking for data that points to a specific conclusion. That's evidence, right? That's what I'm looking for, not your claims. Like I know you believe these things. I'm asking for reasons to. Yeah, I don't want to argue against a deist God. It's a waste of time to me.
Hey.
Hey, what do you got?
Hey, what do you think the odds are that we exist without a creator?
100%.
No, I'm asking, what do you think the odds are? Like, like, give me 1 in a what that we came together and, you talk
1 in
about
1. 1 in 1.
1 in 1. So why isn't it recreating everywhere all the time?
There's no other universe except for ours, not necessarily. Look, we don't know the odds necessarily. All we know is that we live in one place, and this could be the only one, or there's an infinite number of worlds.
Right, but I'm asking specifically, you talk a lot about the brain, you seem to know the brain well. I'm asking for the brain to just come together out of space and there not be a creator. What are the odds of that? And if the odds are high, why doesn't it just happen all over the place?
It may be the case that Big Bangs happen all the time. We don't know. We can't assess the probability.
I
You
agree
can't
with
just
you
say
that.
God did it, because I don't understand. Look, what your argument is, the crux of your argument is, I don't understand how this world works, therefore God. It's not a good argument.
No, I don't. No, actually, that's not my argument. My argument is that there's a bet. I'm not even trying to prove that there's a God, because I believe that for there to be a God, I believe he.
Guys, only come up if you agree, disagree with me, please.
Hello.
Hey, what do you got?
Yeah. I think it's intelligent design. I heard you talked about, well, I'm kind of new, so I didn't hear most of your speech, but you talked about how at least the guy before said you talked about how the brain works and things like that, right? So if we're gonna look at the design of the human species as general, from all the way down to DNA, we can look at the aspect that we're already applying in things like computers. You have the DNA being almost like a database, if you will, or hard drive of information.
Right, but we have
So
a
probably can
natural
almost
right. Okay, but we have a natural explanation for why DNA is this way. We have a very good understanding as to
okay.
why DNA is this way. It's natural processes, chemical evolution, biological evolution. You never need God to explain the complexities of nature.
No. I'm not disputing the complexities of nature being as what it is. I'm just saying that the fact that you're able to look into a system like DNA and see the same resemblance in, let's say, for instance, a hard drive. Someone took an image of
We don't. We look. DNA is just a
motherboards.
it's a fucking molecule, right? Like DNA is just a molecule. It's not special. It's just a damn molecule.
No, but it has information in it. You can manipulate how the
No, it doesn't.
information
It
is.
doesn't have information in it. Information is something we prescribe things subjectively or conceptually. DNA is just a molecule. And if you're going to say that it has information, well, so does my left ass cheek. So does a pile of shit. Information is subjective. I'm looking for evidence that your God exists, right?
And I'm saying it's intelligent design. Human. Sorry.
How do you know? How do you know it's intelligent design?
because you can see it. E.g., okay, fine. Let me go back. I'm trying to use the DNA sample as an example. Back at school, I was doing telecommunications, but there were guys who were doing biology, and they were doing stem cells, studying stem cells, and they were saying you can actually redesign the concept of maybe the finger if it had been chopped off or something, and then apply stem cells in order to regenerate the same finger according to the age, according
Yes,
to
we understand that DNA is a system. And yes, you can prescribe information to the system and call it a code. But unfortunately, that is explained naturally. It's called chemistry, okay? I'm asking for reasons to think that this molecule or anything about it, the natural world, is somehow caused by something supernatural. So far, all you're telling me is, wow, it's complex, it's a system, therefore God. That to me is a non sequitur.
okay. Well, I can't give you an example then if that's the case. I'm sorry.
Well, you have one last chance to
I would
give
have
it.
I would have gone as far as maybe saying my own experiences, but then those don't help outside of me being, my own opinion again.
Right, but okay. Look, you're just conceding you have no evidence. I mean, but give it a shot. Give it a will.
My evidence was based on what we see. My evidence was based on DNA. My evidence was based on the fact that, people talk
But
about
you don't
patterns that
have
you find in
evidence.
nature.
You don't have evidence in our DNA. There is no evidence in our DNA of God. The only evidence in DNA is that it's a molecule. We don't know if it's supernatural, super duper natural, uber super duper uber natural. All it
You've
is
never
a
had
molecule. It's just a molecule. How can you possibly assert that God did it with no prior evidence?
you've never had dreams that predicted future occurrences.
No. And even if I did, how would you know that your dream predicted it and it wasn't a coincidence? Right?
Okay. When I was, I think 4 years ago, I'll give you an instance, because the reason why I wanted to avoid this is because it seems like I'm using my own personal experiences as an example, and that's hard to prove. But I've had dreams where things that I thought about existed and showed up in the exact same way I thought about them in the dream. So much that it's he's saying coincidence or luck. Okay, well, fine then.
Look, of course we're going to say coincidence because how do you tell the difference? How do you know that it was actually there's something behind your dream and it wasn't just a coincidence? How do you know it wasn't? We don't know. Neither do you. So this is why you can't use this as evidence.
All right, no, then I'll hold back my comments. Thanks for the opportunity.
I hate to be the party pooper here, but there's no evidence that we have superpowers that can predict the future. Now, if you can show me, if you can perform an experiment where you can have a dream, write it down, and then predictably, predict things reliably with a good accuracy, do it. Fucking do it. Great. But don't sit there and say that, oh, one time when I was 2 years old, I dreamed that I was sucking my mommy's breasts and it happened. Like, okay, it doesn't mean that God did it. I'm being rude and crude. Welcome to reality, right? Look, we have to deconstruct from this notion that the world is perfect because there's a magic man who cares about you. Unfortunately, that's not reality, and the sooner we recognize how harsh and bitter reality can be, the sooner we can overcome this nonsense of, oh, don't talk to me that way, don't say God's not real, oh no. It's just a belief, right? And your belief is not good. It also can harm people. That's why I do this. There's many reasons why I do this. I think the entire notion that I'm the rude one here is ridiculous. Take a look at the world. People use their beliefs in God to do all kinds of horrendous things.
Yo, am I on here?
Yeah, how old are you?
Like 17. How do I leave this?
I got you, don't worry. Science creates the bomb, but religious people use it.
Yo,
What do you got?
so, do you believe that Adolf Hitler was wrong in what he did?
Yes.
So, why do you believe that your morals and your thinking is better than his?
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 18,
What year were you born?
2006.
What month?
I don't know in English, the third month.
Okay. So, yeah, I get my morality from surveying my surroundings and saying, hey, how does this thing affect this person? How does this action affect this person? I use my brain, my logic, my empathy, and I survey my surroundings. I survey the consequences to my actions, and that's how I get morality. When it comes to Hitler, he harmed people, he caused lots of devastation. And that's why I think he was wrong. It's unnecessary and cruel. So again, what's your evidence of God?
Yeah, I get the point, but the the consequences don't mean that your thinking is better. Because
I agree. Nobody's better or worse. The problem is it's all subjective. But you can't solve that. You can't give us some objectivity.
yeah, but if we can solve it, why is he widely considered to be the worst person ever?
Because he's wrong to most people. Most people agree he was wrong. That's just happens to be by chance that we don't like bad people like that. We don't like people like that.
All right, I get your point. So
Okay.
the second question, recently you said that religion can harm people. Can you explain what you mean?
What do you mean? How do I look at the Crusades, the wars? Look at Gaza. Look at all
Yeah,
kinds of
but if
terrorism.
you
Right? People use their belief in Allah to kill. People use their belief in Jesus to do all kinds of disgusting things. Kill their children. It's happened before. People say, "Oh, I had a dream. Jesus told me to kill this person." It happens all the time. It's religion can be a force of evil.
if you read the New Testament, or you read the whole Bible, and you come out of the Bible saying that killing people is I don't know the word, but is good, you're just either a dumb person or just a dumb
Yeah,
person.
don't say that, sir. Don't say anybody's dumb. Look, I'm sorry, but your Bible has a host of disgusting things within it in the Old Testament and the New Testament. Look at Timothy, tells us to silence women. It's misogynist. It's racist. It's disgusting. You're cherry picking. In actuality, religion embedded within its doctrine is hatred, violence, and that will never change.
All right, he's saying that God is imaginary. Can you prove me wrong? Go, Seth.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in the live. Wait, can I
so,
be
okay,
voice?
hold on.
1
So
second.
If God's not here, right? Explain to me the innate design that we find in patterns of nature everywhere, the Fibonacci sequence, Tesla code. The fact that there's literally Yahweh implanted in our DNA is
Oh, really? Where's Yahweh implanted in our DNA?
look up what the human flesh is composed of.
No. You're not going to steamroll, right? Give an example as to where Yahweh is in my DNA. Where is it?
Look it up on Google.
It's not a source. That's
I
not a
don't have the exact.
source.
I've seen so many documentations. I've looked it up myself.
Great. Give me one. Give me one peer-reviewed source that says Yahweh's in our DNA.
I'm about to find it. Hold on. Hey, he called me out. He caught me off guard. I'm over here smoking a blunt right now. Hold up.
Yeah. Go. Yeah. Come back when you're ready. Okay. You're not going to sit up here and say Google said that we have Yahweh in our DNA. It's garbage. Evidence, data. Your microphone is working weird. Come try again next time. Hello? What do you got? What do you
A
got?
bunch of other stuff, man. Sorry about that. Actually, according to a Stanford University study, it's actually healthier to have a religion.
Okay. Does that make it right or true?
It makes it better than being an atheist.
No, it actually doesn't. Not to me.
It
'cause
really does,
I
because
don't need to
atheism really
believe.
does drag people down. And when you're talking about lots of death and atrocities, I believe.
Stop. You're not gonna come up here and just blah blah blah. Atheist bad. Atheist bad. Look,
I believe Joseph.
I'm asking for evidence.
He killed hundreds of millions
Not
of people.
evidence that people's fairy tales make them happier. I know that that's true, right? If I believed in unicorns, of course I'd be happier. if I was delusional and just believed in unicorns and leprechauns were gonna save the day, of course I'd be happier. But it doesn't make it true.
Actually, the single-horned African
Give us evidence
rhinoceros was
give us
Rhinoceros unicornis.
give us evidence that God's true. Give us evidence that God is real.
Can you give me evidence that he isn't?
Sure. Which God do you want me to debunk?
Okay. Well, can you explain to me how atheism isn't a religion?
It's not a. There's no doctrine of atheism. It's just a lack of belief.
I believe Darwin is the kind of the father of atheism with his theory of evolution.
No, sir. I'm sorry. You don't know what you're talking about. You could be an atheist and not even believe in evolution. The two are not tethered together. What we got?
I know that last time I could not convince you about God, but maybe this time I can. I have evidence. Do you remember me from last time? Yeah, I know you do.
No, sir. Can you just hurry up?
God damn, I want to kiss that marshmallow cheeks of yours. God exists. You're the proof, man.
Bro, somebody block that guy. At this point, it's like kind of like harassment now, and I don't appreciate it.
Having a hit in the ocean is not a good deal. Hundreds of billions of dollars of damage from something like that.
Scientists are presently working on technology.
Bro's watching Ancient Aliens. Scientists discovered the world of wonders under the ocean. The aliens are hiding in the ocean. What's up, Jordan? How are you?
Hi, I want your butthole. I want it. Give it to me, Mikey. Oh my god. You're so ticklish.
Yeah. Just tired of all the harassment.
Good evening.
Yeah.
Why are you a man and I am a woman? Who made this? You are a man, I am a woman. If we come together, you have something new in the world. How is this possible? There is something out
chemistry,
there,
man. It's
but
called
nobody
chemistry.
knows.
It's called
Sorry?
chemistry.
So that chemistry decides if you are a man, and it decides. So you see it yourself. It's chemistry. How you see it? Chemistry. Chemistry. How do you call it?
Chemistry, ma'am. It's
Yeah,
called
chemistry.
basic science.
Okay, chemistry. So that chemistry decides if you are a man and I am a woman. So we come together and we make children, and then we have something new in the world. So everything is chemistry, you say. And who made that chemistry? Who made that chemistry?
Nobody.
Nobody. But it's something, if you look, chemistry, it's something very, how do you say it? Because my English is not so very good. I'm from Holland. Chemistry. But you say nobody made it. But who will decide if you're a man or a woman? There is something out there.
Ma'am, who made God?
No. Look, who made God? I think personally, I think there is something out there we cannot see with our eyes. Maybe it's from
Okay,
another world.
me too. I believe there's something out there. Maybe
Yes,
there's IQ points out there that
maybe
you
it's
can get you.
E.T. You know,
Now, do
E.T.
you have look? Do you have evidence that God exists? Because if you're going to say that, who made you? I can ask that about God, right? Who made God?
That is true, because we don't have evidence, and I don't have evidence. But I ask myself, how made you a man and me a woman? And if we come together, there's something new. But I
All
think
right. Have a good day, guys. I understand you look around the world, it's complex. How are we human? How are we breathing? How are we alive? This is crazy. This seems to require. Thank you for the galaxies, Jen. Thank you, Jen. Thank you so much. It seems like there's somebody behind this. It seems like there's somebody doing this. But the problem is, as appealing as it is, there's an entire realm of science that explains why we have DNA like we do, right? There's a whole biological process that explains this. And that's why there's alternative explanations that do a better job than just saying God did it, right? Saying God did it raises way more questions than it answers. Who made God? Where did God come from? Why does God exist? Why does God want us to exist? What's the reason? All these questions arise when we can just say, nature did it.
Are you
Hey, how
there?
are you?
All I want to say is nothing exists without nothing. Yeah, imagine that.
I can't.
Something had to exist for something to exist.
Okay, where did God come from?
From existence.
Who
You're
made that? Who made
you're
existence? Who made it? Who made
who
that?
made you?
Nobody made me. We are
You made
products of
yourself.
evolution.
You don't make sense. You made yourself then,
No, we're
or did
products of
something have
evolution.
to exist to make you?
We are
So
products
something
of.
had to exist
Yeah,
to
we're
make
made of.
something
Ma'am, can I
exist.
speak now?
We didn't just get here.
Okay, can I speak now?
No, you're fucking stupid. Bye. Whoever made you was stupid too. Good day.
Oh, there's a Christian love. The
Hang me up.
Jesus love.
Hang me up, because you know I'm right.
Oh, I thought you were so intelligent that you could leave on your own.
You know I'm right.
No, ma'am,
You
you're
believe in God.
unironically
You
incorrect
believe
about
in
everything
God.
you
You just
just
want
uttered.
followers. You just want people to be on your live arguing so you can get your little followers up.
I don't give a shit
You
about
believe in God.
followers, ma'am. I care
You
about
believe in
thinking.
God, sir.
That's why I'm here, because people
You
like you
believe in
don't know how to
God, and
think.
everybody in this chat should leave because he just.
You can leave, man, but you don't know how to leave because you're not intelligent enough to do so, apparently. Now, as I was saying, your entire utterance made no sense. How does nothing come from nothing? What's nothing mean? All we have is something. To even assess the notion of nothingness requires something. How can you think of nothing when it takes something to think it? It's possible that all we have is something. And necessarily it's this way. And if you're concerned about this, well, the same could be said about God. However fundamental you want to go, however far back you want to go, the question remains, who caused that? If we stop at God, then we can stop at the universe. We could just say the universe is always this way. And we are simply products of stuff that happens within the universe over time. Maybe we always existed. We don't know. But for you to say that I'm stupid because I can't answer your malformed question is extremely fallacious. And to me, very ignorant. Unfortunately, you don't know how to leave, so you're still stuck here with me. But I hope you listened. Because I'm not here to say that you're stupid. That would be rude of me. However, I will say that you're uneducated on this topic. Go learn about science. Go learn about the Big Bang and evolution, mathematics. Learn. It'll do you good.
Hello? How's it going, man?
Good.
Good. So you don't believe in God?
No.
You believe in angels?
Nope.
Then how do you suppose the earth and all the people on it and the animals, the trees, the air you breathe came about?
The Earth is a rock, and it is the product of billions of years of physical changes, fragments of material, stuff that precipitated from the early universe, has since evolved and changed into things we are today. It's a very elaborate
Really?
chemical process, but none of it requires God.
Really? How do you explain life? How do you explain life itself? Be it you, me, cats, dogs, wolves, lions, tigers, bears, oh my. How do you explain that?
Yeah, it's amazing. I look around the world, it's an amazing thing to see the
Yes, it
different
is amazing, but how do you explain it?
evolution. It's a very elaborate chemical process.
No. How do you explain life itself?
Life is a chemical process.
No, because here's the thing. I don't know, but I've never seen life come from non-life.
We
have you?
Yes, we have. It's called abiogenesis.
How have we made life? It's called what?
Abiogenesis.
I just, and you've seen this.
Yeah, we have made lipid bilayers in labs. We've made amyloids. These are sheets of peptides that can.
No, wait. It took life to create that life, though, right? It took life to create that life, didn't it?
No, this is
sure because
we
did it. We are. Wait. Hear me out on this. If what you're saying is true, it took a living being to make all that happen. So, where's the being that made us?
Nobody made us, sir. You're assuming that somebody made us. I'm trying to explain to you abiogenesis. Can I explain?
You can try.
Okay. So you are alive because of the things you're made of, amino acids, the proteins, the lipids that make up your cells. These things on their own are not alive. However, when they interact with each other chemically, life emerges from that process. So life is not an object that you can put and pinpoint. Life is a process. And life emerges from non-life. And we see this in labs. We see this all over the earth. It's not magic,
Where?
sir.
I've never seen it on the earth. Maybe in a lab it can be produced, but I've never seen it all over the earth. Never,
Great.
not one
Go
time.
learn. Then go learn about the earth. Go learn, sir, about the galaxy.
No, I do know. I mean,
you live on a
show me something, okay? Outside of a lab. Wait, please hear me out on this, okay? Because it's, you know what, you just, I don't know, you kind of talk down to people, man, and it's sad, really, because you say these things, and your evidence is, well, let's, for a better word, lacking.
No,
Think about it. You say, yes, they've done this in labs. That's great. But the Earth isn't a lab.
Sir, are you
The Earth isn't a lab. How do you get life from non-life?
Are you familiar with the experiments we've done with RNA polymerization and lipid bilayers?
You mean artificial DNA?
No, RNA polymerization with clay phosphates. Have you
No, I'm
ever
not
heard of the
familiar with
experiments we've
that.
done on amyloids?
Amyloid's
Does that
alive?
ring a bell to you?
No, it doesn't actually.
Then go learn it. See, that's the point. That's the beauty of life. You can learn about it. Okay.
No,
So
so you
go
can't
ahead
explain
and
it.
take your
You
time.
can't explain that simple question. Now, I'm going to explain to you about God, though. I'll explain to you how God works.
Okay.
Okay? And you can't deny it.
Okay, go ahead.
You have a mother, right?
Yeah.
Well, let's hope so. You weren't born in a test tube. You certainly weren't hats. So, yes, you have a mother. Okay? That lady kept you safe in her belly for 10 months, raised you.
Thank you, Jen, so much. Appreciate it.
Stopped you from being hurt, bandaged your boo-boos, and healed your wounds when you hurt yourself, right?
Okay, I understand. Sir, I understand
Do
that.
you? Wait, hold on.
So where's your evidence of God now?
I don't think we're there yet. Hold on. So, who else would do that for you besides an angel? Who else would do
I
that?
understand that.
Takes an angel to do that.
People.
No, okay, so there goes your angel theory. The theory that angels don't exist right out the window, because anyone who does that for anybody is an angel.
Look, I understand that mothers are great people when
No.
they take care of their children.
Listen, I'm making my point.
It doesn't make them angels.
And I just hit the nail right on the head. So there goes the angel thing. The angels are real. I just proved it.
All right.
You didn't deny it.
Enjoy. Oh man, you must have been an angel. Thank you, Gent, so much for that. Really appreciate that. My Venmo and my PayPal's in my bio too. If you guys want to donate. Hello?
Okay, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because before I come here live, I don't have a phone. I don't have any cell phone, any networks. But accidentally, a drop of glasses and borders are came from dust and combined, and they become my phone. And I got you online, and I'm talking to you. Do you believe me?
I don't understand what you said. I think you're trying to say that how can all these particles come together to make a phone?
Yeah. And how can everything can be perfect in life?
Okay.
How can all these
Nothing
earth,
is
the
perfect.
sea, the sky is
Perfection is
perfect?
in. Okay. When you say that
Everything is
things.
flowing perfectly. Sorry.
All right. Have a good day. Have a good day. Look, I understand what you guys are thinking. How is the world configured in this way? It seems meant to be. It seems perfect in a way because it works, right? We exist. The problem is, if you're going to say that this life is perfect, what is it perfect relative to? If this universe is perfect, what's an imperfect universe? And how do you compare and contrast those two? And how are you doing that? Maybe we just are. We happen to be by chance, and maybe there's another universe. Maybe there's a billion other universes out there that are just different in different ways, different people, different beings, we don't know. All we know is that we exist, and it's amazing. I agree. It's freaking amazing that we are here. Okay, it's mind-boggling. Either way, whether God exists or not, it's fucking mind-boggling that we're here. The problem is, as appealing as it is to say that God did it, that there's somebody doing it, there's no reason to think that somebody did that. Humans love to personify things. In the past, it was with the Roman gods, the Greek gods, right? There was a thunder god, a rain god, an earth god. We assign gods to the world around us to make it make sense for us. But now we've shed that nonsense. That mythology is shed. Now we recognize that there's a natural process behind those things. So perhaps we are products of the natural world. They just are. You know, and as hard as that is to grasp, it might be true. Okay? We don't know.
How you doing, brother?
Good.
Hello? Okay, my name is Mauricio Estrada Ramos, and I've been on the platform TikTok for about 2 years. I think I got about 30 million views on my videos. And my name is, like I said, my name is Mauricio Estrada Ramos. I recently rode a bicycle from the town of León, Guanajuato, Mexico, all the way to Houston, Texas, which is León, Guanajuato is in the middle of the country of Mexico.
Okay, great.
Now,
Congratulations.
I want you to just ask me this. Watch. Do you know? I'm pretty sure you know how a baby is formed from the moment that the sperm cell comes out of the male, right? You know the process. It goes into the uterus, and it
Okay. What's your point, sir?
Okay, my point is this. You can believe in God because you read the Bible, but let me show you. Let me just give me a time so I can explain to you what the process is of making a baby, making a life. Okay, the sperm cell, one cell goes into the woman, and from one cell.
I know the process, sir. I know the process.
Okay, but I want the hearers to know. I want the hearers to know because a lot of them don't know, and I'm going to make a very powerful, strong point on this.
Have a good day, sir. Look, another reason why saying that somebody made babies. Look at how many babies die in the womb. Miscarriages, stillborns. Look at the mothers. Look at the process it took to have a baby. It's very dangerous, especially in the past. People died all the time from having births. Why would an intelligent God do that? Why would some loving being design such a terrible process? It's just an agonizing process. Why would God make it so that babies develop all kinds of genetic conditions which render them disabled for the rest of their lives? Why would God design that? To me, it makes no sense. In fact, it makes way more sense under naturalism, under a natural world where shit just happens, you know? I don't see a reason why those things happen. It seems like a wishful thinking to me.
Hey, what up, Mike? So, have you ever heard of the Puddle argument?
It's not an argument, it's an analogy, but okay.
It's supposed to be the Puddle argument as the analogy. What I was going to try to say is that's what like a lot of your guests seem to be confused about is like this world seems to be so perfect for us. And I was just wondering if you'd heard it or not.
Yes,
All right, that was it.
Puddle looks around its surroundings and it says, look at the hole I'm in. It's perfect for me. This puddle is saying to itself, look at this hole around me. It fits me perfectly. It must have been designed for me. But no, now we know it's not. The hole is just a random hole and the water just happened to be there. There's no perfection about a puddle. It's just chance. You know, one last guest because I'm really tired. Hello?
Even Shaitan is confused.
Hello?
Hi, what's your argument?
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, sorry. Can I please state something? So, me personally, I'm a testimony of what God has actually done for me. I have felt the Holy Spirit. Can you prove that? How is it that I felt the Holy Spirit?
What did you feel?
The Holy Spirit, I felt at peace, as if I felt the power of God overwhelming me.
Yeah, when I have sex, I feel at peace. Does that mean God's in my penis?
Anna, you are a hard person. Bye. God will see you. You'll see when he comes back. I won't lie. Let's prove. Let's
Look.
wait for his coming.
Look. I understand you have feelings, but feelings don't equate to God. Feelings are just, as apparently they seem to be, chemicals in the brain, in the body, right? Dopamine, oxytocin.
No, it doesn't matter what you say. Right now, I want us to wait for the coming of God. And then when you see the angels, the horns, and everything, I want you to look back and say, this little girl told me so.
Okay,
Even though you make
I'll
those
do that.
faces, it doesn't
I'll do it with
matter.
no evidence, no data, no facts, just I told you so.
The Bible is evidence, though.
You mean the book of talking donkeys?
And remember when you said that Christianity, it also sometimes it's about, they tell you about murder and stuff like that. Well, I'm sure that you haven't read the Bible fully, because there are 10 commandments, right? I hope you know them. I think you do.
Yeah, the first five
There's this one.
the first five are about appeasing God and not hurting God's feelings. Don't worship other gods except for me. Don't say my name in vain. It's all about God. The first five are about God. And by the way, why doesn't God say, "Hey, don't own slaves"?
What?
God doesn't command us to not own slaves. He, in fact, commands us to have slaves. Why?
Well,
Why does God like slavery?
I just want you to wait for the day. That was my message right now. Wait for the day when he comes back.
Okay, when's that day?
When he comes back, I'm still not sure. He never told us. It's not known.
Right.
I hope that I
Okay.
explained this.
Right.
Yeah.
It could be any day from now until the next 1,000 billion years, right?
Yes.
And that's what they've been saying for the past 2,000 years. He'll be back one day. He'll be back.
Sorry?
He'll be back. In
He
fact, the
will
Bible
be.
says that God will be back before people die of old age. Yet he's never come back. Probably never will. There's no evidence that he'll come back. And come back for what?
Okay, can you see the things that are happening in the world? Do you
What is this?
notice that they're actually, some of them, most of them are connected to Revelations, right?
Oh, give me one example that's connected to Revelations that's happening today.
Okay, wait. There's this thing. I actually read about the river that dried up, ne?
The river that dried up, which one?
I don't remember what was the river. I don't remember
Was
the
it
river's name.
Euphrates by chance? Euphrates?
Sorry?
Was it the Euphrates?
What's that?
A river.
I'm not sure.
Okay, ma'am. Well, come back when you have shores. Guys, every river dries up. Every river dries up. It happens all the time. No God is required to predict a river will dry up.
Hey, how's it going?
Hi, how are you?
Hey, doing well. So hey,
God is imaginary, right? Let's just go ahead and I like to use analogies. So as an analogous reference, try to bear with me. God is imaginary. God is, let's say, point B. You are point A, you are self, right? Well, who's to say that you as point A is real?
We can experience things. I have photos, birth certificates, images.
Okay, so
that kind
how
of
do you
stuff.
experience things?
I touch things.
So you have some physical sensories. You have a sense of touch.
Yeah. Now,
Shoots
what's
out
your
to your
evidence?
brain, shoots back to your finger really
Yeah.
quickly, right?
Yeah. So, what's your evidence of God now?
Okay, so I have to give you some sort of preface, right? To say that you are real or not real would say that, let's say we're all imaginary. That means we're with God, right?
It's not clicking for me.
I mean, maybe you don't understand it because you have to zoom out. Maybe you're thinking with a frame. You have to take the frame down. Ignore Abrahamic faith, ignore institutionalized religion. Now, I'm not saying anything's wrong with Abrahamic faith. A lot of them have great principles. There's many religions that you should inherit positive principles from. But my main gist is there's always a starting point. There's always a jump start, just like an engine to a car.
Okay, you're just kind of yapping. Like,
Now, I'm going to land the plane. I got you. I'll just get 20 seconds on the podium. So who's to say that you've unlocked every level of your consciousness to know what there is or isn't in a higher plane? And who's to say that you're stunted from doing that on a phone?
there's no evidence
Go
of
out
it.
in nature and you shall find the truth.
Yeah, there's no. That's not evidence of God for me. Like, that doesn't prove anything for me.
Well, maybe, man, it's you're looking at it like you have a concrete answer. I'd say you probably just need time. Perspective changes.
Look, what's your evidence of God? Right, just give us your evidence.
See, can I give you my evidence for quarks or things that are just vibrating? How do I give you
Quarks?
evidence for it without an instrument? How do I give you evidence for
That's not my problem. That's
plasticity
your
of skin
problem.
without
That's
a
your
microscope?
problem. That's your problem.
How can I tell you that a DNA will tell a ribosome to shoot proteins from RNA to DNA?
That's not my problem, right? You're claiming
Right?
God exists.
I understand that, right?
Hold on. You're claiming that God exists with no way of measuring it. That's your problem, not mine. You're making the claim that God exists. I'm not saying God doesn't exist or can't exist. I'm saying there's no evidence it does. So what is the evidence it does?
So I guess we could go opposite ends of the same circle, but we can't really reach a premature conclusion at either stance. I stand with my point where if point B is God and you're point A, and
all right, have a good day.
Neither of you are real.
I think God is 0.9, 0.0. It just doesn't exist. Point error. All right, guys. I'm done. I'm pooped out. Keep learning, stay curious. And don't take things too seriously. We're just apes on a rock, chilling out for a little bit. So let's love each other. Let's not harm each other. Let's be kinder to each other. Let's think before we speak, think before we believe. And keep an open mind, keep learning. And be led by evidence, not by feelings. Theist Brooks humbled you. Oh, really? What was the argument that beat me? Do you have it? Look, anybody can say that I got beat, or you got beat, or he got beat. What's the argument? I'm not. And by the way, it's not bad to be wrong. It's okay to be wrong. The problem is when you are wrong, but you pretend you're right. That's the issue. That's the issue. When you pretend you're right, or you shun away facts because you're biased, because you want God to be real, you shun away the facts. That's the problem. Not about being wrong. Look, nobody knows the answers. We're all lost to a degree. All we have is ideas. But the best idea wins. That's what science is all about. The best idea wins.